We are live.
Good morning. We have actually, I've got 2 cups of coffee, but I'm going to
I
show
was about to
one.
say, I am very grateful for my coffee this morning. I brought a refill with me.
Oh my goodness. What would we do
I'm, ha-
without coffee?
I'm having my English toffee coffee this morning. Um,
Oh,
Johnny and Becca kept me up last night till about 1 in the morning. I fell asleep on the sofa. So, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I had on last night and combed my hair, came on here, and I am so grateful for coffee this morning.
yes. I am too. I am too. It's good to see you, Jen Lynn. I enjoy this with
It
you.
is good to see you. And for everybody coming into the chat, I put Mary's link to her channel on the top, pinned to the top. We are, or Mary, Jodi's.
Jody,
Sorry, I was talking about Mary
you're talking to
Arrow in the
Mary.
chat. My sister from another mother.
uh,
Um, we are so grateful you went well over 500 subscribers, so you got your community tab.
I did. Thank you. Now I was the next threshold is 1,000. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, Jodi goes live on Sundays at 4:30, right?
Yeah, 4:30 at the moment, but Jenlyn and I are talking about making that a half an hour earlier so I can bring her on before her 7 o'clock event. So I may change it.
Yeah, because I hope to join you sometime on a Sunday. And
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
these videos that we're doing, people are coming back later and rewatching, like the
yeah,
one we did on manifesting. They're rewatching. I think the end where we go into the meditation and the sound healing, and using it as sort of a weekly meditation. So
yeah,
it's really been a lot of fun doing these.
yeah. And I have worked on the sound portion of it. I'm very picky when it comes to recorded sound because I've been doing professional music with these bowls, and I have found a way to actually do the music where StreamYard doesn't corrupt it. I had to change computers. I have to be on a Mac to do
Yeah,
it. So today will be the first day of that, and it's been working.
yeah, it sounds really good and clear. It's
Yeah.
hard figuring out all the little kinks and stuff in YouTube and StreamYard.
Oh my God! Last night, I'm broadcasting to Facebook and broadcasting to YouTube, and my friend Goddess Mariposa has a camera facing the screen, broadcasting to Instagram, and we are just howling with laughter after we were done. And okay, we're supposed to be banging on antique bowls. What are we doing?
Trying to watch the chat on three different things.
I know I got 2 cell phones with both chats up. I'm like, this is funny,
It's just funny, like what, looking at the videos that we've done already. And we're taking turns. Like this month we're on my channel. Next month in December we'll be on Jodi sometime.
Mhm,
We'll
mhm.
announce when we set it. We don't set a date till after we end the one
Yeah,
we're doing, and then we set a date for the next month.
exactly.
Um, but it's really funny because like most of my videos, within a few days I've got like all the views I'm going to have on it. Like people that missed it live, they'll come in, they'll watch it like
Mhm.
that week sometime, and then you don't get a lot of other views. But I noticed on our videos, people are keep coming
Mhm.
back and
Mhm.
coming back and coming
Yeah.
back, which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, we're the elders of the gang,
Yeah.
so we get
So
the wisdom gets to be put out there, and what you and I talk about is eternal wisdom. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna have to start time stamping where the meditation starts, where we go into the candle lighting and the sound
do
healing.
that.
I'm gonna have
Yep.
to time step it so those that are coming back that just want to go to that part, they can find it
You can
easier.
find
I'll
it.
have
Yeah.
to
That's a
remember
good
to do
idea.
that.
That's a good idea. I know I'm sitting here like, how do you get the picture behind this? How do we do that? Like 50 questions on how do we do the technology?
Well, I love your mug you have today.
I do too.
It's uh, what is it? By the grace of God.
By the grace of God, I chose this for gratitude because of the actual story behind it. I wish they had put it on both sides. Um, Somebody received a communication from a scammer from Africa, and instead of deleting the person he engaged, and started a conversation. And very long story short, the person in America ended up flying over to Africa. I think he had a nonprofit already with backpacks for children and computers, and and they started selling products. And this is what the man in Africa kept saying, because the first round of money that he received went into the backpacks for the kids in school. And his village was so poor that there were no roofs on these huts. They were just thatched, plant matter. And it was like, look, we have tin roofs now. Thank you. So to support his gratitude, I got the cup, because I can hear his voice from the video that I watched, and it's just this voice of gratitude at times that I can't feel it myself. So I love this.
I love the word grace, because to me that's part of what gratitude is just falling into grace and
Yes.
just allowing the
Yeah.
universe to bring to you what you need, and coming from a place of gratitude. Grace, to me, grace is like surrendering,
Hmm.
surrendering,
Hmm.
letting go, let God, let the
Hmm.
universe, I love the word grace.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, this is. I don't use. I mean, I use a mug that keeps my coffee hot, because I'll lose it in different places in the house. I could find it later.
You,
I don't use these kinds of cups unless we're doing this. And it was like I'm digging through the cabinet trying to find this one. It's like, this is the gratitude cup.
what one of my favorite CDs to listen to music wise is Emmylou Harris's
Hmm.
album "Stumble into Grace," and I think that's what a lot of us do. We stumble into grace. It's like we
Hmm.
sometimes have to stumble a little to learn how to just surrender.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
mercy, mercy, like letting go.
Yeah, surrender's been a big word I've been working with lately. As a Scorpio, I am in a this is funny. The wow, Scorpios, you're rising from the ashes, kind of ritual death and rebirth. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all skip over the part that we have to burn it all down before we rise out of the ashes,
That's right. That's
which
right.
is
I
the
mean,
place I'm in. So I have really had the invitation to surrender into gratitude and grace through
it,
the whole thing.
I think there's a lot of times that we all have had some point in our lives. I think where you literally are brought to your knees, like
Mhm.
mercy, mercy.
Yeah,
I can't take anymore.
yeah,
Mercy, help me. And that's a part of that surrendering and
it is.
stumbling into grace. And
It
you
is.
you find that place of grace and that place of gratitude so that you can
Mhm.
manifest positive things for you. But
Mhm.
there's a release that happens, and mercy to me
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
stumbling.
yes, yeah. It was funny. I started my morning with a text from a client who's in. I think she's in Crete. She's in Greece, right? She is in Greece. Her grace is in Greece. So, and she's in the ritual death mode that some of us Scorpios are in. And she's like, help. And I'm like, okay, we're going to record this and I'm going to send it to her because we're not going to
send,
talk about,
send the
and
link.
send the link. One of my first native teachers taught me a really important lesson about gratitude and surrender. Ritual death is in the West on the medicine wheel. It's the dark night of the soul. It's the shadow work. It's going in and looking at things you don't want to look at. And my Western perspective on being there was push harder to get out, work harder, do spirituality harder, whatever. It was movement, push, push, push. And and so the more I pushed, obviously the slower it went. And when I sat with her in Colorado, and this is about, I don't know, 30, 35 years ago, she just looked at me, and I'm going to paraphrase because what she said was rather rude, but basically what she said was, if you Westerners would stop resisting the West and the dark night of the soul, you'd get out of it faster. And I'm looking at, and it was like somebody who went bam, in the back of my head going, wake up and deal with what you're in without fighting it.
Yeah.
And I have never forgotten that lesson, because in the way I look at life, we are always going around the wheel. We will always come back to places where we just flat out don't feel grateful. And I have learned to surrender to what is actually going, the feelings that are going on, and find something I can say thank you for in that. And one of my exes, long before my path started, his way of putting it was, there's so much poop here because of what's going on, that if I keep digging through it, there's a pony down there somewhere making it. I'm on the pony. So it's really a choice point of, am I going to tell the story of how bad it is, how stuck I am, and how much I don't like what's going on? Or am I going to start that conversation with thank you? And I have run classes in groups, and because I had somebody in one class once that he would hit the threshold of the door and start pouring out the things that were going wrong in his life. And it was so negative in the energy that was coming in the door, that I made a rule for this class, that you walk in the door, you find somebody in the room as we're milling about before we sit down upstairs, and you talk about three things you're grateful for. That's the first thing that comes out of your mouth.
Oh, I love that.
It was wonderful. It completely changed the energy.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
it was a forced false, I mean, his way was, this is bad, you're my healer, I'm dumping it. My way was, I ain't taking it because you're in victim mode.
Yeah.
Start with something you're grateful for. So it was just it's fascinating working with gratitude. It really
Yeah.
is.
I had to pull three cards while you were talking.
Oh,
This is the Dark Night of the Soul card,
oh,
and
look at that.
this is like the mercy. I can't take anymore. It's you're going through
Mhm.
Dark Night of the Soul, and then the Death card. It's dying to something, surrendering to something, and bringing change in. It's a
Yeah,
card for me about big changes. It's bringing change in through letting something die to something to bring back. The Judgment card, bringing back, resurrecting. So those three cards to me, like they come up a lot in personal readings and stuff, and it's like you have to let this go. You have to surrender it to the universe, let it go,
hmm,
to bring something new in. But yeah, for me, like when I was younger, I'd be like fall to my knees, mercy, I can't take anymore.
hmm, hmm,
Now it's like I try to sit down and do a gratitude journal. I have all different types of journals. I have a journal I
hmm.
write with my angels in. I have a journal that's just me, my thoughts, whatever's going on in my life. But I have a separate gratitude journal. I have a separate dream journal. And that gratitude journal, it's like finding something every day that you're grateful for.
Yeah, yeah.
I woke up this morning and I was breathing. Thank you. I forgot what that. Thank you. It's like
Yeah,
every day. The hardest times though, let's talk about this a little bit. Some of the hard
yeah.
things that's hard to find your space of gratitude, because it is
Hmm,
a space around
hmm,
you
hmm,
that you're
hmm,
building, and it
hmm.
starts with your thoughts, and then
Yes.
you pull it down into the heart. Um, you know, it's usually coming from a place of lack or fear,
Mhm,
feeling
mhm.
like you're lacking something in your life, whether it's financial or
Right,
friends or
right.
family or um, job, whatever, home, whatever you feel you're lacking. It comes from lack. And when you have lack, you have fear. And
Mhm.
what you fear, you attract. So
Mm.
learning to surrender, let go of the fear. There's also we were talking about this before we went live. Grief is a real hard
Mhm,
place to find gratitude from, because you're
mhm,
grieving for the loss of a loved one or a pet that
mhm,
you loved. Um, I love I love when they do memorial services called Celebration of Life,
mhm, mhm.
because to me we're we're working through our grief, but we're coming from a place of gratitude that we are honored that we had any time with that pet or that loved one,
Mhm.
any time. It's a
Mhm.
sacred time, and
Mhm.
we're celebrating their life and celebrating the good things as opposed to, focusing purely on the grief. Grief takes time to work through. It comes in waves, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of times when people are going through grief, it's really hard to. Grief can be loss of a job.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I'm
Mhm.
grieving. I miss my friends at work, and miss the
Yeah.
income. Grief can come from a lot of different places. So
Mhm. Mhm.
surrendering that grief
Mhm.
helps you find the grace to ease the pain, the
Yeah.
heartache.
And the thing that I'm hearing when I'm hearing you talk is being grateful and feeling grief doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It is that flow of I'm grateful for this in my life and I'm grieving that and I'm
Because I
holding
miss it.
both as sacred at the same time.
Yes.
And yeah, and there's so much grief on the planet right now. It's amazing, actually.
I mean,
Unresolved.
literally, because I've been laid off, in work retail,
Mhm.
when I was working in retail, hell, it sucked. It's like after 2008 that it really got hit hard, and I've been laid off 3 times since 2008. So the first thing I do is, yes, I grieve getting to see my friends every day. And, I miss them, but I'm grateful I had the opportunity to make those friends, to have had that time with them for however long that job lasted.
Exactly.
I'm grateful for that income that came from that job that kept a roof over my head. And
Right. Right.
um, for me, like whenever I like kind of feel like I'm going to go into panic mode, like, oh, which is the fear of lack.
Mhm.
Um, I always remember God's always kept a roof over my head. You know,
Yes.
whether I'm renting or owning or
Yeah.
whatever, it's like I've
Yes.
always had a roof over my head. I've
Yes.
always had friends, that I was so grateful for, that helped me through those difficult times, that were like an emotional support system. But I also like tried to do it from within. It's
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
responsibility
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
try to find a positive energy to put out there in the universe to
Yeah.
try to change it and shift.
Well, it's a pivot. We can in the early days when people would say we create our own happiness. When we learned how to stop outer referencing to go get it out there and create it internally, gratitude is the key. Nature for me is another key. My move up to Arkansas in February was the start of a ritual death for me. I mean, believe me, I wanted out of Texas. It wasn't like I didn't want to go. I chose to be here, and it changed living situation. It changed my business. It changed my life. It was this thing where I'd sit upstairs in the sunroom, right after I landed with a broken washing machine and no laundromat, and oh my God, there's problems. The normal list we make of this is not working. And I'd look out the window at the beauty. I've never seen such beauty as living on this lake. So the beauty was the gratitude, and everything else felt like it was dying. And I'm just like, okay, that's grief. I left a place and changed everything. And
It's
instead
it's
of
like
doing it
dying unto yourself to bring something
exactly,
new.
exactly. And it's been a really interesting process, because people are like, but you take so many beautiful pictures, we can't tell there's anything going on. And I'm like, well, that's my prayer of gratitude. I'm not going to change that,
Yeah.
That's part of how I express gratitude is look at the beauty out there. So
It's for those that are Christian, it's Christ energy,
it is.
dying to resurrect into
It is.
something new. So,
Mhm.
we're all created in the image and likeness of God. So we're doing our own form of resurrection all the time when we're surrendering. And
Exactly. And
um,
and the storylines that go on in the brain of how bad things are, how they're not working out, that's the hardest thing to stop
mm,
because it is fear based usually. And I'm reading what you all are writing, and it's just absolutely
Yeah,
freaking
there are
amazing.
beautiful comments in the
Yeah,
chat.
thank
I've been
you.
reading too.
Thank you. And one of the things I've learned to do, because I'm a frequency person, with the music, but everything for me is frequency. And if I'm in the key of fear, okay, if that's the vibrational frequency that's going on, it's usually inner children that are panicking about something. And I've learned to use the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono prayer as a frequency changer. So, and I've worked with a Hawaiian shaman that I used to go to about the languaging of that prayer. So we changed something, and I will sit with my inner kids, hand on heart or both hands on my heart, and to access them and just tell them the prayer. I love you. I apologize. Please forgive me. Thank you. And basically, what I'm saying to those vulnerable parts of myself is if I had the magic wand, none of this crap would be happening. I would completely change what we're afraid of. And I can feel when the frequency changes into love or gratitude or accountability or forgiveness. And then I can do the pivot in my mind of this is what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the skills that I have to even change that. And it's a practice. I mean, gratitude, when my mouthy ones, my guides said, yo, you need a gratitude practice, I argued with them. I always argue with them, and I didn't want to. I'm going to hang on to not feeling good because I'm in a ritual death. And this was years ago. And they're just like, try it, you'll like it. So it was a practice I had to start, like meditation, like anything else we practice.
Yeah.
And it works, it
I
works.
find for me, naming the fear,
Mhm,
saying
yeah,
it out loud, naming the fear enables me to get to a place where I can release the fear and
yeah,
surrender it, to attract and manifest positive things. So naming the fear, like when I was laid off, like I'm afraid I'll never find another job again, or I won't have the money to, keep a
mhm,
roof over my head. It's like
mhm, mhm,
name it, and then kind of detach from it, look at it, and then
yeah,
just that's when I do that shift of I've always had a roof over my head.
mhm.
That's hard to do. Like, if you've been homeless,
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard
worried
to
I'm going to
do.
be homeless, but maybe you have actually been homeless at some point in
Right,
your life.
right.
Finding that gratitude that somehow you were able to get back on your feet. Um, just jotting down one thing every night before you go to bed or every morning when you get up
Mhm,
that you're grateful
mhm.
for. It's like I am grateful, living in the present. Quit
Yeah,
living too far in the future, like, oh no, because
yeah,
that's when all that lack and fear comes up. When you start looking at the future,
yes.
or when you have regrets, you keep looking at the
Yeah,
past and reliving the past.
mhm,
Get in the present and find
yeah,
one thing right now you're grateful for.
yes,
I
yeah.
am I am grateful Artie is sitting here peacefully on my table and not showing his butt to everybody.
He showed his face a little earlier when you mentioned pets. He
Yeah,
looked up like, that's me.
the little things you can be grateful for can be quite funny because humor will lighten things up
Mhm.
real quick in your energy. And
Yes.
so, hey Becca, thanks for keeping me up so late last night. I'm
Yeah,
grateful for you.
yeah, that's the pivot. Okay, this is not feeling good. I was up too late. I am grateful that
I'm
y'all,
grateful for
you all
all
had
the
so much fun together after.
I'm grateful for all the laughs we had in the after show, but I was needing I'm grateful for my coffee this morning.
Me too.
Love you too, Becca. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
my inner kids are really good at naming what they're afraid of because I've given them, the freedom to do that. And it's so funny when it comes to money, it's we're going to
That's
be
a
homeless and we're going to lose our pony. The pony
that
is the pickup truck.
that's a key word, freedom. Like
Yeah.
if you don't name the fear so you can surrender it, you're still attached to that
Yeah.
energy. And naming it for me frees me. That's the
Mhm.
perfect word. It frees me so that I
Yes.
can surrender it, detach from it, let it go, and then
Yeah.
focus my thoughts on what I'm manifesting
Yes.
today, right now. Can I
Yes.
take one step? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, like when you live in a place of lack or fear or grief, even, it's hard to take one step
One
forward. You
step.
feel stuck like you're in
Yes.
quicksand.
Yes.
So
Yes.
being able to take one step, maybe it's just going for a walk around the block,
Yeah.
looking at the beautiful fall trees,
Hmm.
admiring, if you don't have a pet, admiring a neighbor's pet, whatever you can find,
Hmm.
finding one person you can smile at, like you go to the
Hmm.
grocery store, finding
Hmm.
one person. You got food stamps. Thank you for the
Hmm.
food stamps. That's
Yeah.
keeping food on my table.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's the thing I see about gratitude as a practice is when things are going well. And I see this with clients. That's when they just throw the gratitude practice out the window. And I'm like, no, you want to get in the practice of saying thank you for something every day, because when things are harder, then you're already in the practice. You don't want to wait until you need it. Do it
Yeah.
every day. And I was thinking about this morning. I think I'm going to find this jar. I have this huge glass jar that I don't even know where I got it from. And one of the years of the gratitude practice, I took little pieces of different colored paper, small, and wrote the gratitude on the paper and put it in the jar every day. I don't go back and read them. That was suggested. And I'm like, no, I don't need to. I'm in the moment with that.
Yeah.
But looking at a jar filled with beautiful colors, because these were the neon colors, it was like,
I
ooh, look
love
at all those little gratitudes. They're all little colors of little
I
sparkles.
love that.
It was
And
really
seeing a
cool.
whole jar of things that
Yeah.
you've been grateful for,
Yeah.
it's like, to me too, like regrets or whatever, or
Hmm.
anger or resentment or anything that can block gratitude. There are no mistakes in life. So,
Hmm.
okay, why did I date that guy? Why was I in a relationship with that person? Oh my God, that was like, I really messed up there. No,
Hmm.
there are no mistakes. It's always,
Hmm.
what did you learn from it? And
Hmm.
then get back in the moment to manifest something more positive for you.
Right.
There are no mistakes. So
Right.
don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's an experience.
It
I
is an experience.
experienced that. Now I know I want to experience this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Well, we don't, I
teaches you
mean,
discernment.
we started our series with manifestation, and the first step to manifestation is the honesty of, okay, that was a lesson. I choose it differently. Gratitude is sort of the grease the skids thing that helps me manifest something different. And the thing that I see about lack of gratitude is there's always the creator God's will thing in all of these manifestations, and the timing. Humans are infamously impatient. I mean, I am. I'm always
Yeah. I
impatient.
want it now.
I want it now. Instant gratification, and if it's not manifesting instantly, there's something wrong with me. That's usually what I hear from clients. And there's nothing wrong with anybody. It's, I've done that with my guides. Like, how come this is not manifesting as fast as I want it? And they'll just look at me and go, we're over here in the quantum void pulling strings and rearranging stuff. Would you have some patience? We're busy. I'm just like, okay. It's like there is a timing to things. And I have begun to see, if I am going in this one direction, even if I'm doing gratitude in one direction and it's not working, I need to sit down and ask, is my intention the highest good for me? Is there something I can't see because I'm in tunnel vision that's out here that is easier and better and smoother, and I can say thank you for and go that way? And that's helped me stay in the moment.
There's times I think where people like feel like I can't see a way out of this situation, because they go so
Yeah.
far into,
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
can't see a way out of a situation. So finding a little bit of gratitude, because I find when we're more open,
Mhm.
the people that can help you. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a friend. Like, say you're in an abusive
Mhm.
marriage,
Mhm. Mhm.
finding people that can help you move out of that situation. they're there. You may have to do a little research to find, a shelter or something to get yourself to. But if you stay open to it, your angels and guides will come in and bring you what you need to help you get out of it. If you set that intention of, I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's also another thing that most of us don't like is asking for help. you know, you know
And putting yourself in receive mode to allow yourself to receive it instead of thinking, I have to do everything myself. No, they'll bring, you weren't put in this world alone. You aren't meant to live in complete isolation. There are others to help you. So you just have to
know.
open up a little bit to allow others to come in
I
and help.
know. I know we're such a funny species. I mean, we really are.
Yeah.
Because I'm infamous in my circles for get out of my way. I'm doing it myself. And they're all like, yeah, when are you going to ask for help? Like, yeah, I'm learning that one still.
It is, Becca said, being grateful for having the strength to help yourself. But it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you have to do a little work too, but you can also stay open to the universe will help bring you some help also to help you understand
yeah,
how to move forward, because God wants you to feel love and abundance and be aligned in that light. And if you're living over here in this headspace, it's hard to get aligned with that. I'm going to ask everybody in the chat to write one thing they're grateful for right now in this moment in the chat.
please, yes,
I'm
yes,
grateful for the opportunity to do another video with Jodi. Cheers. I am so enjoying these conversations and the meditations we do at the end.
I am grateful for you, the support you've given my channel, and talking about these beautifully simple things that reboot me into the practice, and thank you. Thank you, and all of you out here. Oh, the kitty.
I'm laughing at Becca. I'm grateful Bubs stopped
Stop farting.
farting. That's a good thing.
Oh, is Bubs an animal? Oh my god, I love it.
Gina, I love that. That's so simple. Having a warm blanket to keep you warm and snuggling, go into teddy bear mode, get snuggling. That's a peace energy. Just feeling
Yeah,
surrounded in a warm blanket. Just feel yourself surrounded in a warm blanket of love and light. I
yeah.
love that. Very
I'm
simple.
yes.
One thing you're grateful for right now in this moment.
This is beautiful reading what you all are writing.
It
Absolutely.
is.
And
I,
the
I,
thing that is so cool about this is when we refocus and write something as a group that we're grateful for, energetically, we are lifting everybody in this chat up immediately. This is beautiful. Oh, this is
I
so
encourage anyone who's watching this later, to turn on the live chat for that and watch some of the
yeah,
comments.
look at that. Or write a gratitude in the YouTube chat. I mean,
Yeah, actually, yeah, in the comments below the video, if you're watching later, put a comment
yeah,
in for one thing you're grateful for
yeah.
right in the moment when you're watching this.
Hey, Lori. Yeah,
It's a,
I have groups that I run a lot of women's groups and artist way, groups and classes, and I always have a private, secret Telegram group that we can post pictures and cards that we pull and whatever we want to talk about. And all of them, a request is post a gratitude. Say thank you for something. We can deal with the issues that we're all dealing with in the group and start with a gratitude. And it's been, I mean, it's been neat to watch that over the years, of going in and out of I don't want to yay, let's do it. And many of us will literally take a picture and post that as a gratitude. You're like, here, look, that's what I'm looking at. It's
I
been
have I have a funny story when I was living in Memphis before I moved up here, um, of a time where I was like, oh crap, oh crap. I was renting a house. I had a lovely landlady and landlord who didn't care how many cats I had in the house as long as I kept feeding Artie. Artie was a front porch feral cat, right? So they didn't care that I had 10 cats. I had 10 cats in the house. Well, no, I had 9 cats because Artie made 10. I had 9 cats in the house. They didn't care as long as I took care of Artie. So
okay.
I was at work one day and we had a really bad storm and
Mhm.
straight line winds. And as I'm driving home, I was on the phone with my friend Beth Cat and I had my earpiece on and I'm talking and I just flashed on this image like there was a big tree over my house and all my neighbors were standing in the front yard. I said, "There's a tree on my house." And she's like, are you home already? You just got in the car, you just started driving. You can't be home yet. I'm like, no, I'm not there. I get up to my house. There's a tree over my house and all my neighbors standing in the front yard,
Wow.
like a huge 100-year-old oak tree. Well, it turned out it wasn't one tree, it was three trees because one big tree, not two smaller ones, over the house. The whole house was covered. And I
Ooh.
went inside and the whole roof was pushed forward off the foundation and branches going everywhere through the house, all through it. So I go in there and I'm like, where are the cats, where are the cats, where are the
Yeah.
cats? And all the cats were down in the den away from where the tree fell. The tree fell on the bedrooms. Like if it had happened at night, I would have died.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
heater, hot water heater, and the AC unit and everything in the attic fell on the master bedroom bed. That
Oh.
bed is where a lot of my cats slept during the day. So I was
Ooh.
like, I saw all
Wow.
this crap on the bed, and water going everywhere and branches going everywhere. No cats in there. My cat Luna, who was the guard cat, she's
Mhm.
standing there at the hallway guarding and not letting any of the cats in there because all the windows are busted out. Like they could have gotten out of the house.
Oh
And
gosh.
she's standing there guarding and not letting it. So all the cats, the other eight cats, were all in the den. She was keeping them herded down there away from the danger. So I said,
Wow.
"Okay, Luna, it's all safe." So she went down to the den. I was able to close off that part of the house. I closed a door to
Mhm.
that part of the house that had the windows busted out. I mean, the toilets were knocked off the foundation, everything. I'm looking around.
God.
Okay, there's all this crap on my master bedroom bed, right? The bed's standing, like it wasn't busted down. Looking around the room, my furniture is all intact.
Wow.
The closets, like no trees through the closets. My clothes were all okay. I'm
Wow.
going around, like coming through the ceilings, and like I had to climb over branches, big branches going through.
Mhm, mhm.
Not the only thing that happened. I had one mirror that got broken, one mirror that got a branch through it. Not a
Beautiful.
scratch, not a dish out of place in the kitchen. Nothing, like everything was fine. I was like, okay, the cats are okay.
Yeah.
All my stuff is intact, even though I got these crazy branches everywhere and a big holes in the ceiling, but everybody's okay. And then Artie shows up on the front porch, up under the tree. He comes up on the front porch for
Oh.
dinner, and I'm like, oh crap, grab a can. So I go out there feeding Artie. All my neighbors are out there, like no power to the house. Another neighbor cut the gas off, yes, I wouldn't have an explosion because they knew the pipes had to be busted. And
Mhm.
I called my landlord and I said, "You're gonna have to come up here. There's a tree through the house." And I said, I had to call him back. I said, "Let me reemphasize, it's a huge tree. Like you got to get up here."
Yeah, your house is ruined. You
my
know?
All my cat carriers were in the attic, and on the far side of the wall, I was able to go up the stairs and look, but the whole thing was gutted where everything fell through on the master bedroom. So I could see all the carriers totally intact against the back wall, but I can't
Wow.
get to them because there's a big
There's a
hole
hole.
in the tree. So I'm like, I called my pet sitter because she did animal rescue. She
Mhm,
rescued
mhm.
dogs, and I said, I need carriers. I said, can you bring me carriers? There's a tree on my house. I got to like put all the cats in carriers and then think about what am I going to do with
Yeah.
nine cats. Um,
Wow.
so she comes over and we start putting cats in carriers. I started calling friends, and one of my friends said, "You're going to stay with me till you figure this out."
Mhm,
She let me bring like five cats with me. I had another friend that took four cats. So and then after things kind of settled down, I was able to like find some more people to help with the cats, so I didn't have five
mhm.
in one bedroom. The lady that took me in was allergic to cats, but let me bring five cats to her house. I mean, when you allow help to come in,
It's
when
right
you're like,
there.
mercy, mercy,
Yeah,
what do I do? Where do I go?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It all fell into place. They repaired the house within 3 months, but I lived with this friend for 3 months.
Mhm,
I go over
mhm.
every morning and every night to feed Artie.
Meet Artie.
He lived close by, so I'd have to go over and feed him every morning and every night. But I was so grateful. Like, I was okay. I was alive. It didn't happen at night. All my pets were okay. They were all fine. All of my stuff got loaded onto pods while they were,
Mhm,
rebuilding the roof. They had to
mhm,
take the
mhm.
roof off and rebuild. They had to get the trees off. It was an eye-opening moment to just breathe for a minute.
Oh
Just
yeah.
take a breath. Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
catastrophic, but just take a breath. It's all going to be okay. Um, but it's like my mind was like, shoom, going 100 miles an hour. Like, where are all the cats? Where's this? What am I
Oh,
going to
oh yeah.
do? Who,
Oh yeah.
where
Oh
am I
yeah.
going to take the cats tonight? Like, where are they going to stay? I got them all in carriers. Now what?
Now what? So, thank you. That was neat. How did you get Artie in the house? How did you get him to be this beautiful, I'm sitting on your table house cat?
Trap after the house got repaired and I was back in, got moved back
Mhm,
in, trap neuter release.
mhm,
Um, and he was about 8 years old. The vet estimated
mhm,
he was about 8, and I had never been able to touch him, not pet him, not touch him, not even get him to sniff my finger. He would like, but he would let me sit on the front porch while he was
okay,
eating, but
with
he wouldn't
him.
get near
Okay.
me.
Uh-huh.
And he would like announce as he was coming to my house. He was like, "Rah, rah, rah, I'm coming," so he would talk to me. But
Mhm.
after trap neuter release, he was one of the rare feral cats that got friendly. So I was sitting on the front porch while he was eating, and all of a sudden I felt him rub on my back. I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding!" I was like, "You're coming in now." Like, he got let me start petting him. And the next night, I put his food inside the front door and opened the front door, and he came in to eat. And I closed the door,
Mhm.
and he settled in pretty quickly. I kept him in a separate room till he got used to being inside and stuff. But
Wow.
yeah, he got like, he would let me pet him, and then he
Mhm.
learned to lay in my lap, and then he eventually got to where I could put him on my shoulder. Like, I couldn't do that when he first came in. It took me about a year to get him to where I could hold him
Mhm.
on my shoulder. Now he's like a
Oh,
big old teddy bear. He just
yeah.
lollygags.
Oh, that is so cool.
So I was grateful for that, because I had feral cats before that I never,
Mhm.
even after getting them neutered, I couldn't
Yeah,
get
you
them
couldn't
socialized.
couldn't
So
be with him because
yeah,
he is such a part of all of your readings, and all of your work. He's an amazing being. It's really
and
cool.
he's 18 now, so he's been an indoor kitty for 10 years. I'm grateful for the time I have with him. Now, at the same time I was feeding, when the tree fell on the house, I had another cat that showed up outside that was so sweet, looked a lot like Lucy, big,
Huh?
fluffy, orangey yellow colored cat. In fact, I think Lucy may be him reincarnated.
Hmm.
Um, I was feeding him, and I brought him in before I brought Artie in because he was friendly. And I was going to get
Hmm.
him to, once I got back in the house, I brought him inside. I was going to get him to the vets, get him checked out. So I was keeping him in a separate bedroom from my cats.
Hmm. Hmm.
And before I could get him to the vets, he started passing blood in his stools. And I took him in, and I'd only had him inside 2 weeks. I took him into the vets, and he was positive for feline AIDS. And she's like, we think he has cancer. He's in pain. He's, passing blood in his stools. And I was like, let's put him down. I don't want him to suffer. Like, there's nothing you can do, to treat it.
Hmm.
And I cried more over that cat that I'd only had inside for 2 weeks than cats I've had for 20 years.
Wow.
It was a release, because I always, could I have done more? Should I have done more? And then I was like, no, let the regrets go. So I came from that place
Yeah.
of gratitude of, I'm grateful that I
Yeah.
had you for that short time, and
Yeah.
that I could
Yeah.
help ease your transition so you weren't out on the streets suffering in pain. I could help ease
Exactly.
your crossing. So
Exactly.
trying to find that place, even in my
Mhm.
grief, finding that place of
Mhm.
gratitude.
Yep. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of this because your kitties are so sacred.
I think our pets are very sacred. Our friends are sacred.
Hmm.
Even people that are sort of negative, our lessons, the teachers, like, the most difficult lessons, the most difficult people in our life teach us the most.
Hmm.
That there's they may have made a contract with you, a soul agreement, like, I'm going to
Hmm.
come in and do this to you, and you're going to, have the opportunity to learn from it. So
Exactly.
everything happens for a reason. It's always, what did I learn from
Yeah.
this?
Well, and the thank you and the gratitude for me leads in a faster way to the forgiveness that has to happen to move on. Back to the freedom word, it's like for the freedom and the change, I have to go into gratitude for the lesson and the forgiveness. So all
Yeah.
that helps.
Well, shall we go into a sound bath healing
Is
and
it
a little
time for music?
meditation?
Yes,
And
let's do that.
thank you,
Okay.
everyone that's joining us today. If anybody wants to light a candle with us. So
And
we're
I'm gonna wait and change the sound after you do the candle ceremony
we're
because
45 minutes in, so the meditation's beginning at about 45 minutes.
mm-hmm. Okay, we'll turn.
Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, we surrender to your mercy, compassion, and healing. We thank you every day for bringing our attention to those little things to be grateful for. We thank you for helping us stay in the moment, to surrender to the process, to stumble into our grace, to help us find that inner peace, to be able to take a small step forward every day. We thank you for helping us take that moment every day to recognize one thing we're grateful for. We thank you for this community of support and healing. We thank you for the wisdom you help us, for the inspiration to help us see when we're coming from a place of lack or fear. We thank you if someone is going through an illness. We thank you for providing us with doctors and nurses and healthcare that helps us through those difficult times, and our friends and family. We thank you. We thank the scientists. We thank you for the scientists that brought us a COVID vaccine. We thank you for this wonderful week of Thanksgiving to remind us we have only to pause and breathe, to take one moment to remember one thing we're grateful for. As Jodi said during our last video, think the thought of gratitude and then take a deep breath and feel it in your heart chakra.
Okay, and we're going to start with that meditation. So take a breath, put a hand on the heart center, and follow the sound of the heart bowls into the sacred space of your heart and your lungs. And as you breathe, take a moment to thank your body for its ability to breathe, and expand your lungs and your heart chakra. You're just opening up the energy of this part of your body, activating the cells in the heart, and making room for gratitude. And as you breathe into the frequency of gratitude, the invitation is to breathe that up into your head. activated heart and the gratitude activates the brain, moves aside the stories, and just dials into the essence of this beautiful organ known as your brain. And as you come into harmony, you'll notice that the harmonic is more powerful together than separately. Take a deep breath and come back into your sacred space with the sound of gratitude.
Ooh,
You all sounded good. That was nice. I'm reading the energy of the group.
I breathed out too heavy on my candle and blew it out.
Blew
Had to
it
relight
out.
it. 'Cause I like to let my I went woo and blew it out like happy birthday to me. I am reborn today.
So the notes that what I'm playing, I started with heart math. That's the F and the B, or F sharp and B. Then I went to the table over here, and C sharp is the earth gong note. So I was playing the C sharp bowl, which when I lived on a ranch, that was the Corsican sheep herd's favorite note. I would sit out and play the bowl for them at night. And so I was playing a mixture of C sharps and G, the throat, and then noodling around with some other notes just because the bowls sound good together. And then went to the earth gong, and then there's the sun gong. So you got the heaven and earth connection. Everything means something in my sound healing. And then I was,
Sound harmonizes,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like I can play chords on my guitar that harmonize.
exactly.
Sound harmonizes within the body.
Yeah. Well,
Brings
and when I say you all sounded good, I'm reading, I mean, if I'm
the
reading
group
your energy through the sound,
the
if
group
there was
energy.
if there was a dissonance, I would hear it through the instruments, and everybody sounded really good. And the bar chimes that I played, which are out of view, is the European chakra chimes. It's a different note structure, and they sounded great. So we're all in coherence this morning.
Yeah, it's lovely because every time we do this, the sound bath is different. The one for
Oh yeah,
manifesting is different
yeah,
from the one
yeah,
for gratitude. So
yeah,
I think that's why like people come back at different
yeah,
times in their life. They have different needs, and
yeah.
and Jodi's got a ton of videos on her YouTube channel. Definitely check them out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you also have a website, right, Jodi?
Yeah, sacredinspiration.com or jodyroberts.com. They both go to the same place.
And you
Yeah, I
can
mean,
order different sound healings.
yeah, I have stuff. I have vibroacoustic tracks, which are a combination of frequencies and my music, and CDs that are all MP. Everything's MP3 now, and then I'm doing a weekly manifestation sound journey every Wednesday that is recorded, and this is something I charge for, but it's the kind of thing where, oh, I'm working on relationship with my ancestors, so I can go back to this one whenever I need to check in with
I
that.
I love mud cricket. I'm taking that right again. Yeah, go back and play them again. I do that.
Yeah,
I'll go back and play just the meditation part. Fast forward on
yeah.
the video.
Well, and my work shamanically with the sound healing is they are prayer tools. So whatever the intention is that we set, I am intending that through the instruments. The bowls usually change, the gongs don't. I mean, as far as the note structures and combinations, because the gongs are a little hard to move around. So, they stay where they are. So, yeah, it's a matter of how we direct energy through the
We are
instruments.
grateful you share your gift with us,
Thank you. I am grateful that I get to do this.
and that people can experience what it's like to take a
Yeah.
sound bath.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I live in the area of Arkansas where everything is about spas and baths, and people are going, yeah, sound bath. That works.
Yeah, it's a sound
Okay.
bath. And it brings harmony and alignment, to your
Hmm.
body, to your chakras.
Hmm.
Um, I was, we at points when you were doing that, I was touching my forehead and my heart chakra, and it's like people forget, you've got a third eye chakra in the front and the back of your head. So at one point, I put my hand on the back to
Hmm.
remember to hold the chakra on the back side also.
Exactly. Exactly.
Activate it like I'm touching it, so I'm activating it. Is
Mhm.
what I'm doing.
Well, and wherever we put our hands on our on our body if we're doing sound meditation, the
Yeah.
energy follows.
And I was putting at one point down on my diaphragm to remember to
Mhm.
breathe deeply, to expand that, which is also putting it on that third chakra.
Exactly. Yeah, remembering to breathe is an important piece of everything.
Well, thank you so much for today. What's our channels we'll post on our community tab whenever we set the time for December, because we have to talk afterwards to
Yeah, we
figure
have
out
to
when we're
talk and
coming
figure
back.
it out. Thank you,
Probably
everybody.
doing something about giving versus receiving or something for Christmas, maybe, since we did gratitude for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. Anytime you guys have suggestions, you can
Yeah.
put those in the comments down below the video later.
Yeah, give us a
And we'll
suggestion.
we'll try to keep hitting different topics.
Definitely. And thank you all for joining us this early in the morning, at least
Yeah.
here anyway.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Remember, every day is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Find something to be thankful for.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm grateful for all of you and for you, Jinlin.
Oh, thank you. We are so blessed with you. Namaste, everyone.